Hello, gals. Welcome back to the Signature Self Show. This week, my question for you is how hard are you on yourself? Come back in just a minute. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about that today. All right. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. That's what happens when you are live. So, today we're actually going to talk about negative thoughts and positive truths. So, let's face it, ladies. We can be the meanest to ourselves. We can tend to give ourselves no grace. We can be so negative about the way that we talk to ourselves, our thoughts, all of that. And here's something that I like to think about. Think about it, and if you don't have a daughter, maybe a niece, a friend's daughter, whoever, I want you to think about a little girl. She's adorable, playful. Maybe she likes dolls. Maybe she likes Spider-Man. My daughter did. But she is fun, uninhibited, loves to play, loves to show mom things. Could you imagine telling that little girl the negative things that you tell yourself? I want to let that sit for just a second. I know for myself, that was something that I have been so guilty of. Sometimes we are worse on ourselves, and most of the time, really, most of the time, we are worse on ourselves than we would ever be to anyone else. Right? We do something wrong. We're immediately negative about ourselves. You did that wrong. Oh, you're so stupid. Why did you do that? We can really get into our own heads. Maybe you messed up on something. Maybe you made a mistake or there was an accident. Gosh, there are so many things that we can be so down on ourselves about. What about our health? Maybe you're not in perfect peak health. How many times does somebody else hear you say, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not fitting into that. I'm so annoyed with myself. I'm like 50 pounds overweight. Oh, I can't eat that because, I'm like on a diet. I really want to help you today to think through those negative thoughts. But I really want you to look at yourself a little bit differently today. I want you to look at yourself as that little girl. That beautiful little girl who was happy, who had an imagination, ideas, things that you wanted to do and conquer. And listen, I know not all of us had a perfect childhood. I certainly did not. But when I was playing and with my friends or at school, in my safe places, the places that we could be ourselves fully, I loved dancing and I loved creating things. I had a club for like everything. I'm sure you guys were not surprised by that. I loved to make stuff. That little girl, I have been so hard on for such a long time. Now, some of it really truly is self-inflicted. Some of it has come from other places, and I can't control that. I have had people tear me down. I've had people, get on me about different things. We've all had a little bit of that in our lives, haven't we? So, I have a little activity for us. And I did not create a sheet for this. I apologize, guys. I have been teaching a class the last 2 weeks, and my Wednesdays have been so crazy that I have not created the sheets that I've been wanting to create. I will get that out. I'll probably put it out as like a little workbook. But I'm actually kind of glad, because this one, I do not want you to overthink it. I don't want you to even have to worry about printing out a piece of paper. Like, just grab anything, any kind of piece of paper, printer paper, grab it from a scrapbook. You can grab it from a notebook right now. I don't want you to wait on this. I want you to make sure it has nothing on the back that's important to you. That is key, right? I want you to write down these negative things. You're not good enough. Gosh, how many times do many of us say that to ourselves? I'm writing it down right now, myself. There it is. You're not good enough. How about, who do you think you are? I'm writing it down. I hope you guys are doing it. You are. What are some other things? I'd love to hear what you guys, if you're willing to share, of course. I know this is a harder topic. How about, you don't have a college degree? That's me. Have a college degree. I can't tell you how long that held me back. And I didn't even try to do things because I knew I didn't have a college degree. How could I do anything without having a college degree? That was beat into me all around me, everywhere. And so I didn't think I was good enough. What about, let's straight up just say it. Sometimes I just feel ugly. Maybe you're not the weight you want to be. So maybe you feel fat. Now, I really want you guys to see this. I want this visual for you. You're ugly. You're fat. How does that make you feel seeing me write that about myself? I know many of you here love me, right? You may admire me. I don't know. And I see some wonderful comments. I'm guessing that is my wonderful Coco. Just from of course, not telling me, so I have no idea, but I'm guessing. I want you to feel that same way about writing this about yourself. Guys, you are so much more than enough. Like, I don't even think you are enough goes far enough for me. You are so much more than enough. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And here's what I want you to do. Oops, I tore a page I shouldn't have torn. That's what happens when you do this live. Here's this piece of paper with these ugly remarks about me. Oh, I've had someone tell me I'm fake. And unfortunately, for a while, I did actually accept that. Yeah. And what I want you to do, I want you to find some way to destroy this freaking piece of paper. Is this immediately going to take care of your negative thoughts? No. It's a practice, just like forgiveness that we talked about 2 weeks ago. But this will give you a multi-sensory experience that is going to help you remember. So when you're saying, I'm not good enough, I don't have a college degree, I'm ugly, I'm fat, these things, I want you to visualize what you did to this piece of paper. And just one moment, I meant to grab this before, but I want you to visualize that. Now, I'm going to try and do this as safely as I can. I've got a cup. That might help. Maybe. I'm going to try and keep this flame pretty small. Do you see those words getting burned? Yeah. Yeah. I might be setting off my fire alarm. Yep. This is what I want for you. Take a minute. You can do multiple things. You could do this. You can rip it into shreds. You can just tear it up. You can paint over it. Maybe take some markers and just scribble the heck out of it. Whatever you need to do that you can do. Like if you're in an apartment, I may not suggest burning it. You don't want to set off smoke alarms and get in trouble. But I want you guys to see this. What a great visual. What a great visual of these words. Just getting burned, getting destroyed. You will have to continue to practice reminding yourself, no, I burned those words. That is not true. That is not a truth about me. I believe personally that until we start to get those negative thoughts, and until we practice loving ourselves and getting rid of this negativity, it's really hard to move forward and build the life that you want. Now, am I perfect at this? No. I still have to practice it regularly. I'm doing this right now for myself, not just for you guys. That is why I wanted to do this, because we all need a reminder from time to time, one, of how important we are. I personally believe every woman out there has a story to tell, but it's this stuff, these ugly, stupid, negative thoughts that get in our way from doing that. I have a dear friend, Phyllis Jenkins, who helps women to write their stories. And I don't think it's her quote, but it is a quote that she has shared with me, that the graveyard is one of the, I'm not going to say this right, but the graveyard is full of very important stories, inventions, things that never were created, never got done. For whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have the support. Maybe they didn't have someone there in their life encouraging them. But for whatever reason, that story didn't get written. That invention didn't get created. That impact, that change was not made. I do not want that for you ladies in this group. So dump the junk, which is what we're talking about in February. Seems kind of funny with Valentine's Day, but at the same time, this is a form of self-love. Dumping the junk, getting help, having somebody that you can talk to or share, whether that's getting help from like a counselor, a therapist. I really don't suggest friends, not because friends can't help you, but friends don't have the tools to help you to necessarily move forward. That could be a coach. There's many people that you could go to. I cautiously say a pastor, but not all pastors are counselors. So be very clear about that, because there's been a lot of damage done with that kind of a thing and not being honest. So make sure it's somebody, this is what I will say, make sure it's somebody who can actually help you move forward. So go ahead and take care of this. Do you see how wonderful that is? What a great visual burning or scribbling or whatever you choose to do is to those negative thoughts. I want that for you. I want that visual, that hands-on experience of getting rid of that. Then my favorite part of this, I believe this is really important. Don't hear me wrong. I'm going to jump to the next piece, because I don't want to leave you here. But I think this is so important enough to talk about, to make sure that we do. Please do this activity. Please. If you need help, if you need to talk to someone, I'm here. You can reach out to me. Please do. I think it's too important. And guess what? You can do it more than once. If you have these negative thoughts that you're working on right now and you do this, but then some other negative thoughts come up that are totally different, do it again. You can do it more than once. That is a beautiful thing about just getting a piece of paper and doing this. Okay, I feel like I have made my point clear. Please do this. Now I've got ashes everywhere. But burn those freaking negative thoughts. Burn those babies. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to find those positive truths. This can be difficult, and I think I already had you guys do this, but if you haven't done it, I'm going to really, really, really implore and request that you do this. I did it not that long ago, so you can go see my own personal profile. I'm not asking you to do something I wouldn't ask you to do. But I want you to go on there, and I want you to ask your friends, your family, what are 3 words that you think of when you think of me? This is hard. This is very hard to do. I know it. I still struggle to do this activity and exercise. However, first off, let me just say, most people aren't going to put negative things on there. That is your negative self-talk getting the better of you. Most people will not do that. If they do, that's a good indicator. They need to go bye-bye. See ya. But they won't. Take those words and accept those words. This is a beautiful exercise because, unfortunately, when we're in a habit of all these negative thoughts, we're not in a habit of the positive thoughts. And it can be hard because it's an inner struggle, right? Logically, we know we have to speak positive affirmations over ourselves. We have to change our mindsets. We have to, say something good versus something bad about ourselves. But when you're in the habit of just allowing those thoughts to do what they're going to do, because they do it, you're washing dishes or you're doing whatever, and they come, it can be very difficult to flip that and turn it around. It really is, it's a challenge. So sometimes we need to borrow from other people's words for us. Even if you can't do it publicly, because you're just like, I just can't do it. I get that. I have been in that place where I just couldn't do it. Reach out to a dear friend even and say, could you just, I know this is weird. If you have to, just, you can frame it like that. But could you just tell me 3 words that you think of when you think of me? Make sure that it is somebody who is going to speak positively into you. Sometimes that's not family. Sometimes family is toxic. So be careful who you do that with. But for the most part, the people who will take the time in the first place to answer this are not going to do so in a negative way. They're going to share positive, wonderful things. I just had somebody do this recently, and she didn't get a ton of answers. Wasn't a whole lot. I mean, I didn't even get a ton of answers. But the answers that she did get, she was blown away because they were things that she hadn't even thought of for herself. It was put into somebody else's words about her. So now she has been able to borrow those words. And in fact, I love it. She's created a Wordly. I think that's what they're called, or Wordle, whatever. And is putting it up as a piece of art to keep. And I love that because the more positive affirmations and things that we can have around us that speak positively to us, the better. Listen, we've all got huge things to conquer. We have big things to do. We have stories to tell. We have connections to make. We don't have time for this crap. I want you guys to conquer this. I really do. It's not going to happen like that. It is a practice, but this burning or scribbling or tearing and throwing away is such a wonderful hands-on multi-sensory experience for your brain to remember. It reminds me of some spiritual practices where they would build an altar. The altar, the purpose of an altar is to remember. It is a physical, tangible, you see it, you can feel it, you can touch it, reminder of something very important. And that's what I want you to do. You are building, for lack of a better word, an altar, or you are doing a physical thing to remind you of something very important. So I really encourage you to go ahead and ask for those words and then do something with those. So we've taken time to burn our negative thoughts. Do something with those. You can put them on Post-its, which I did have handy, but now they're out there. You can do the Wordle. I love the Wordle idea. I think that is fantastic. It's a piece of art. I used to have little rocks that had words painted on it that I wanted to remember. You could do a piece of art. There's so many things that you could do with this. You could use symbols if you are a more creative based, like physical things thinker. I think I don't remember. I'm not even going to try and remember that. But there's so many things that you could do with this. So I think for me, I've got to go back because I've done this twice now. I've actually gone and asked, gosh, I did this a few years ago and got quite a few answers. And then this time I just got a couple, which is great. I don't need a gajillion of them. But just taking those and putting them into that Wordle, I think will actually be perfect. Simple, quick. I don't have to do a lot of thinking. And quite frankly, I don't want you guys to get in the weeds on this. So just do something that is going to help you remember, is going to be a good multi-sensory experience for you to be able to remember the positive things. All right. I think that is it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out if you need help with anything on this. I am not a counselor, so I will be honest. I would probably refer you to someone else if you are needing counseling. However, I may have some resources for you, so I am happy to help with that. But please don't hesitate to reach out, because even if I can't do it, I probably know somebody who can, or can give you a resource in that direction. So the big thing I don't want you to do is to do nothing. Please do this activity. Please reach out for help if you need it. And definitely go get that positivity in your life. Dump the junk. All right. I feel like I talked a lot this time. We do have our Galentines out, so please make sure that you sign up if you're wanting to do that. I think we're almost full for Vancouver. I think we have a little more space. We definitely have space in Oregon. I have space in Utah. If you happen to be in Utah, I would love to have you. Just go and sign up, and we will make sure to coordinate and get you with whoever it is that is closest to you. So, all right, guys, have a fantastic rest of your day. I say guys, I should say gals. All right. I love you. Mwah. Have a great day. Bye.